Welcome to Chapter 8 of our series on computer vision and facial recognition. In Section 4, we're looking at accuracy and bias, specifically whether these systems actually work and who they work for. To understand the limits of this technology, we will break this down into 4 parts: how we measure accuracy, the problem of bias, what happens when errors impact real lives, and why neutral math is a myth. As we covered in Section 3, a facial recognition match is essentially a mathematical score. It crosses a predefined threshold to trigger a result, but it is never a 100% guarantee of identity. That means when a vendor claims their software is 99% accurate, that headline often obscures the specific errors that matter most, which brings us to how we actually measure accuracy. A single percentage point tells us little. We must ask what it is accurate at, for whom, at what threshold, and in what setting. Broad mathematical averages can easily mask individual failures. A system might look perfectly successful on paper while failing completely in real-world scenarios. This chart breaks down the 4 possible outcomes of an algorithmic decision. The top 2 rows represent the system working correctly. A true match correctly identifies 2 images as the same person. A true non-match correctly sees they are different. Both are useful. The bottom rows show where things break down. A false miss happens when the system fails to recognize a true match, like a smartphone failing to unlock for its owner. A false match, or false positive, is the opposite error. This occurs when the system incorrectly claims 2 entirely different people are the exact same person. When deployed by law enforcement, a false match creates an immediate risk to civil liberties. It is the specific error that results in an innocent person being flagged by authorities for a crime they did not commit. This leads directly into the problem of bias. To see how these errors distribute unevenly, researchers look for a demographic differential. The landmark gender shade study provided a clear test of this concept. It is worth noting that this particular study tested the software's ability to classify gender rather than its ability to identify a specific face. For lighter-skinned men, the error rate was under 1%, but for darker-skinned women, it spiked to roughly 35%. While overall accuracy has improved since 2018, severe demographic gaps in false matches persist today. A high average accuracy score means very little if a system systematically offloads its highest error rates onto specific marginalized groups. We can see exactly what happens when these errors hit real lives through the lens of public surveillance. In Detroit, a flawed facial recognition match led directly to the wrongful arrest of a man named Robert Williams, who was detained for a crime he had nothing to do with. Another citizen, Portia Woodruff, faced a similar ordeal, subjected to a wrongful arrest entirely due to a system failure. In both cases, the operational failure was identical. Investigators treated a facial recognition match as undeniable proof, rather than viewing it as a simple investigative lead that required independent verification. A technological bias turns into a human tragedy when the operators of that technology abdicate their judgment and blindly trust the algorithm's output. So why does this happen? This brings us to why the claim that math can't be biased is wrong. There is a common assumption that because math is objective, the software built on it must be neutral. This diagram maps out algorithmic bias. The primary source of uneven performance starts early in development, rooted in training data imbalance. If you feed an algorithm unrepresentative data, it doesn't correct the flaw. The mathematical output simply learns, mirrors, and scales those exact same biases. Mitigating these embedded issues requires a specific framework of structural safeguards. Developers and operators must use representative training sets, conduct strict group-by-group testing to catch demographic gaps, implement careful mathematical thresholds, and mandate human review for every match. We have covered how accuracy is measured, the origins of bias, the impact on human lives, and the myth of algorithmic neutrality. Ultimately, accuracy hides more than it reveals, unless you know the specific error type. A false match flags the innocent. A false miss ignores Gribiel target. And persistent demographic gaps prove that computational bias is a reality. Preventing harm requires continuous human vigilance over the data we choose to use and the thresholds we set. In Section 5, we will take these principles and examine the broader implications for privacy, surveillance, and corporate responsibility.